Today we're going to be working with hair from amore.maven.com using 3 bundles and a frontal, and here is the hair in 18, 20, 22, and 24. As you can see, the hair is very warm and we are going to tone out the warmth and make it very cool and add lots of dimension. But first, before adding the color, I always like to soak the hair just to get everything off of the hair so that when we put the color on, the color is going to penetrate straight through the hair. And while that's soaking, I'm going to move on to bleaching my knots on the frontal. And I like to use a very thick consistency. The consistency is so thick that the frontal lace is not even touching the surface of the table. That's how thick we like it. So then, as you can see, you always want to use gloves, and I'm going to be using 3 different formulas today. And I basically folded the weft into layers of 4 and clipped it to the top of this little board thing that I'm using. This is just going to help me color really fast and not waste any product. This is the color formula I'm using. I'm using the Clairol Professional Soy 4 Complex, and we're going to be using 3 different colors today. It's the 5 Double Ash, the 6 Double Ash, and the 12 Double Ash with a blue base. And all of these toners are on the cool side so that we can tone out the warmth. The 5 is going to be the darkest and the 12 is the lightest. I'm going to start by mixing the darkest color in the darkest bowl just so I don't forget and accidentally grab the wrong color. And the middle level is going in the dirtier measuring cup, and then the level 12, which is the lightest one, is going in the super clear measuring cup. So they're in order from lightness to darkness just to avoid any confusion when you start coloring the hair. I'm going to be using 10 and 20 volume. The reason I'm using 20 volume for the 12, even though the hair is already light, is because I don't want the ash blue to really deposit that much on the hair. I want it to come out more of a white, so when you use a higher developer, it helps not deposit so much of the tone. Then for the level 5 and 6, I'm going to be using the 10 volume because I only want to deposit only. That means you only want to put the color in. You're not trying to lift anything. You're only trying to deposit the tone of the color. And the tone that we're using is that double ash. So the mixing portions are 1:1. So for every 2 ounces of color, I'm going to use 2 ounces of developer. And you really want to make sure you mix it up really well. Make sure that everything is nice and smooth. Don't stop mixing until you see everything looking exactly the same in the bowl. Now for color application, I'm going to start with little pieces, and taking that level 5, I'm going to fully saturate it at the top and making sure I'm coloring every single strand and really working the product through. Then as you can see, I'm taking the level 12 and I'm using that on the ends throughout all of the hair. Always put the lightest at the end unless you want a reverse ombre effect, but I'm not a big fan of reverse ombre. Ombre should always go from darkest to lightest and it should blend seamlessly. So now I'm going to take the next section of hair and grab the 6 this time and then put that at the root, and then we're going to put the 12 at the ends. Again, always use the 12 at the ends. So you're basically going to see me start a pattern. I'm going to be going from level 5 at the top, then level 6 at the top, level 5 at the top, level 6 at the top. And if you wanted to, you could even take the 12 from the top just to have that more highlighted piece going from root to tip every now and then. If you did do that, you might want to use like skinny sections, kind of like if you were to weave for some highlights and then use the 12 from top to bottom that way. And yeah, I'm just going to go back and forth, and I'm literally going to repeat this on all 3 bundles. The reason why I like to do it this way is because it helps me not waste any color, and the way that I have it wrapped in rows of 4, when I start to sew the hair onto the wig, it's going to add so much dimension and all of the hair is going to lay differently. So even though you see me laying it inch by inch, changing the color, it's not going to lay like this on the wig because it's not going to be sewn in these same exact rows. So when you move the hair and turn it over, it's going to have so much dimension in it, and you won't be able to tell when the color is going to start and end. It'll basically just blend seamlessly. So really make sure you saturate the hair evenly. You can take bigger sections, you could take smaller sections. Whatever you do, just kind of mix it up, but still kind of keep the same idea in mind. So using the 5 at the top, and then following through with the 12 at the bottom, and then switch it up and do the 6 at the top, and then use the 12 at the bottom as always. You really want to make sure you're going to work super fast when it comes to toning blonde hair. If you're not toning with a color stain, when you're mixing up a formula, the color is going to start to oxidize, and once it starts to oxidize, that's what's really toning the hair. So as you can see at my bowls right now, the level 5 got darker and the level 12 is starting to turn more of a green. That means it's oxidizing. You don't want it to oxidize in the bowl. You want it to oxidize on the hair, because with hair color, after a while, it stops processing. If you go slow and your hair color oxidizes completely in the bowl and you put it on the hair, your hair color is not going to turn whatsoever. So work really, really fast. If you have a hard time working fast, then just mix up a little color at a time and work as you're working. And unlike bleach, bleach will keep on processing and keep on processing and keep on processing as long as the bleach is like still moist. But with hair color, it will eventually stop processing when it's maxed out. So with that being said, again, make sure you're working really, really fast. And you can just keep on watching to see how the bundle looks when it's completely done. And when I finish it, I basically like fold it up a little bit more and just kind of sit it aside and work on the next bundles. And I'm literally going to repeat the same exact process on the other 2 bundles. And then once I'm done with that, I'll come back and show you guys how I'm going to color the frontal, because it's a little bit different. Same exact formula, but I didn't color it like clip down to the board like this. So keep on watching and I will show you how to do the frontal next. So yeah, that's how it looks. You see that it's basically starting to oxidize. Those cool tones are starting to come in, and I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other 2 bundles and show you how I color the frontal. So for the frontal, I don't like to color it when it's not on a mannequin or already sewn down to the wig cap, just because you might accidentally color the fabric, and we don't want that because then you might have to re-bleach the knots in certain areas. So I'm just going to start off by sectioning this front piece, which I want to be all 12 instead of it having a darker root color, just to kind of like highlight around the face area. And make sure that you completely detangle the hair and that you're fully saturating the hair when you're coloring. So with the 12, I'm just gonna evenly saturate it and work my way all the way down to the bottom. I'm only doing this for the very first sliver of hair around the face, just to add some lightness and more dimension. And then when I get to the rest of the hair, I'll show you that I go back into the level 5 and the level 6 during the roots, and then I like slide the 12 down to the ends like we did on the bundles. So once you finish that first sliver of highlight, I like to do diagonal back sections, and basically it's just parting the hair diagonally with your highest point towards the hairline and your lowest point towards the ear, and just going diagonal back with that level 5, and then following through with the level 12 in the ends. And you see me dragging out the color because I don't want any harsh lines of demarcation. That is like the ugliest thing you could possibly do is have a harsh line of demarcation. I like for everything to blend seamlessly. So I'm just going back through and massaging it really thoroughly, making sure everything is blending together. Then taking another diagonal back section literally all the way up until we get to the middle part. And I'm just going to repeat the same process, except this time I'm going to use the level 6 and then drag it down a little bit, maybe comb it through for some of the color to go down to the bottom, and then use the level 12 on the ends again, just like we did on the bundles. So work your way all the way up to the middle parting, but still keep your sections diagonal back. And then you're going to work on the other side to diagonal back and literally do the same exact thing. Make sure you're starting off with the same color you did on the other side. So since I started off with the level 5 in the roots, then I'm going to do another level 5 on the roots by the ear on the other side. So when you're done with both sides, you're going to end up with this triangle. I'm going to comb the section upwards and color the ends with the level 12, and then I'm going to take level 6 and 5 and sporadically stroke upward on the hair from the roots into the 12, and then go over it with all level 5 after I stroke in both colors simultaneously. And that's just going to help everything blend way more easy and fall way more natural when you end with the triangle section. After that, I let the hair process for 30 to 45 minutes following the manufacturer's directions of the color. Then I took Shimmering Lights purple shampoo. Then I just conditioned it with some regular Aussie 7-in-1 conditioner. And then I completed the wig and curled the wig with a big barrel curling iron. And these are the results. As you can see, it has so much dimension. It's a lot more on the cooler side, and it looks really natural. You can't really see any harsh lines, and everything kind of just blends evenly. If you enjoyed watching this tutorial and you learned something, then let me know in the comments below. And if you are not subscribed, then please go ahead and press that red button, because I'm on a roll. I'm going to be uploading a lot more frequently now that I'm doing this full time. And I just want to thank you guys for watching so much. Be sure to head over to Alyssa Ashley's channel and her Instagram to see more photos of the hair. I really enjoyed making this unit for her, and I just had a blast working with her. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.